Intelligence is the act of building mental models. Because categorization is a faulty activity, and because all words are representations of events, the models that we build with words are, by necessity, faulty. The faultiness of our models is historically documented within the annals of scientific exploration. Our earliest beliefs were those of giving the universe intention. Every action had a purpose or some kind of reason behind it, as if an unseen hand or the object itself had its own goals. I refer to this as anthropomorphizing physics. Something that annoys me even with the most well-regarded physicists is their tendency to anthropomorphize scientific principles. And I'm sure most of them would argue that it's merely a way of explaining and expressing by analogy to a layperson or even their colleagues the scientific thinking behind an idea. But I believe that using or relying on anthropomorphic analogy pollutes the thinking of the people who are working on a scientific problem such that they actually believe the terms that they're using. Ideas like water seeks its own level. Water doesn't seek. It has no mind to look or find a level, per se. It's simply the act of gravity and the even distribution of forces amongst the water molecules that causes water to achieve a level. There are any number of similar scientific analogies that are put out there, and every one of which troubles me. I prefer models that describe things with some rigor and avoid words that imply some kind of intention behind the actions. Mathematics, of course, is the tool by which this rigor is developed and provided to physics. Unfortunately, mathematics alone isn't enough to express the ideas completely in a way that we as intelligent creatures can truly understand. And I think that even people that are well versed in the mathematics of the physical systems that they're discussing have a hard time relating the numbers to the actual physical processes that they're trying to describe, and in fact fall back on these analogies to anthropomorphic terms to express themselves. And often I feel that they lose something in the translation between the two, and it leaves a lot of empty space, white space between the mathematics and the actual behavior of the systems. Anthropomorphic words should be reserved for the social sciences and psychology. It's one of the reasons that I actually don't believe in time as it's normally described by most people. People, when discussing time, anthropomorphize it by using their own mental model of the universe to describe it, and it becomes their belief about the system itself, in that they recall the past, and that's really just a mental model, not a reality in my view, and they imagine the future. Again, another mental model. Both of these things they see as being real. I do not. I do not share that view at all. The only reality is the now. And not only do people ascribe reality to the past and the future, they also imbue it with permanence. And I think that, for instance, time talked about in a modern sense tends to lead people to believe that the universe is a series of frames within a movie, and therefore time travel is possible. You can go backwards and forwards in a movie, right? Therefore, you can go backwards and forwards in time. And scientists even talk about having all of the information of a system, being able to recreate a former state. Being able to create former states is based upon the human perception of the past generating the future, and that we have intention on how the past becomes the future, or how the present becomes the future. And that's where the anthropomorphization of this action actually happens.